Hey everyone, it's Sam Mackay from Enterprise DNA. Today I just want to do a bit of a breakout session here from one of the recent workshops at the Enterprise DNA Learning Summit. Now, I want to just do this breakout because it's a very interesting technique around managing budgets versus actuals inside of Power BI. What I really want to show you is how efficiently we can create this analysis by combining the model and DAX calculations, the correct DAX measures, sorry. So what we've got here is we're trying to analyze, well, how are we actually going versus, say, a budgeting forecast or budgeting information. We want to analyze how this is doing through time, and we're showing it cumulatively. And we can drill into any specific territory in this case. This was an Australian-based example, and we can really dive into each individual element or lookup table or lookup dimension and see how we are going versus budgets. Now, the interesting thing about this particular example was how the model was structured and how efficiently it can be structured by understanding what virtual relationships do inside of Power BI. Okay, so that's the core thing that I want to show you today. I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to show you a really practical way that you can combine these virtual relationships inside of Power BI to get this type of this really high quality insight. So what we have here, this is a pretty detailed model that was made available to all those who came to the Learning Summit and also those Enterprise DNA members once the Learning Summit sessions were put into Enterprise DNA Online. But I want to at least break this out so you can see how it all works. Now, the key thing here is these are our budgets here. And you'll see that there's actually no relationship between anything. And you've got to take note of what the budgets, the setup of the budget table, but the key is that there is no physical relationships. And I'm going to show you how we can create virtual relationships which do a lot of the hard work for us, or will create the correct filters for us based on what selection we want to show, or what calculations we want to show based on selections. Now, the other really interesting thing about this particular setup, and I'm going to walk you through how I built it up, was we have some regional budgets here, which I'll show you here, regional budgets. And you'll see here that it is broken down just by city, right? All we've got is a breakdown of our annual budgets per city. Now, I won't go, this was created with a formula. I won't go into this because I have gone into how to create automated budgets with formula. Look up automated budgets in Power BI on YouTube and you'll find it. But what I want you to visualize here is we have some budgets. These are actually 2018 budgets here. 2018, you see I'm hovering over it now. 2018 budgets per city, so the whole year, okay? So and not only this, I want to show you one other thing. Say, for instance, we've got actual information, right? Well, that's happening every single day. And these results here are at a yearly granularity. So we need to be able to break these up, right? We need to break these down and allocate them across the year. Now, to make this even a little bit more complex, check out this table here. I've called it the budget sensitivity table. Now, what I have done to allocate a yearly budget across each different month is I've given it a sensitivity factor. And I've said, okay, well, January is going to have 5% of the total annual budget. And February is 6%, March is 7%, April is 10%, so on and so forth. And this obviously is going to total to 1 because the budget sensitivity is just going to break up 100% down into its individual parts per month, right? So what we have to do, and sorry, just before I go on, the other interesting thing here is this budget sensitivity table is not connected to anything as well. There's no physical relationship. So we're going to create a virtual relationship for this table as well. So can you see how this is going to bring a lot of efficiencies to your model. You don't have lines going everywhere. You don't have to create additional tables to create the correct relationships. We can do this virtually with a function called TREATAS. Okay, now So in terms of just the setup or the thinking we have to do here, we currently have budgets at a yearly level here. We now can also break them down into a monthly level because we've got the sensitivity here. So, for January, it would be the total yearly budget times the 5%, right? Then we also need to work out how to get the number to a daily level, because that's how we calculate our cumulative total. Okay, so that's the workflow. We've got it. We start with a yearly budget. We break it down by monthly sensitivities here, and then we also need to put some additional logic and say, okay, well, this is how much is allocated per day. Okay, so let's have a look at how we do that. Now, first of all, we need to create a calculation which can be filtered by something in the regions table. Okay, so what I've done in this particular case is I've used the treat as function. Now, this is such a cool function. Okay, if you can really understand how treat as works, you are going to be in a great spot to really simplify your models and create these virtual relationships. Okay, and I've started defaulting to a lot of these virtual relationships in some cases if I feel that the model is going to be simplified, and in this case I certainly felt that it did. So what I've done is I have gone and said sum up that yearly total, but enable me to filter that yearly total by something in the city or the regions table, because I'm linking up the city column inside the regional budgets table with the city column inside the regions table. And now virtually I can filter this particular result by something in that table by utilizing this particular DAX measure. Okay, so now what we've still only, in this particular case though, we've still only got yearly information, so we need to break it down by month. Now that's where that sensitivity comes in. Okay, so check this out. Now I have created another measure here called 2018 monthly budgets. Okay, and then check out what I've done here as well. And because I know that we can sometimes place filters from the date table, right? I am creating a virtual relationship between the date table, which in this case the short month column, and the month name column inside the budget sensitivities table. So then what can happen here is that if there is, say, in a particular context, there's say like something from the dates table, in this case it might be like month and year, well then this budget sensitivity is going to be filtered based on that. So, and you see here that is exactly what goes down, what happens. And what I say is, okay, well, this is where that logic comes into play that I mentioned earlier, where I go yearly budget times the budget allocation, right? If this is filtered, if month and year is filtered. Now, this works because you got to think that it's not just these two particular columns that matter, it's the fact that we've joined these two up in a virtual relationship. So any filter that comes from the dates table can now filter the budget sensitivities table, which has been placed inside the budget allocation variable. And so for every single month now, we're going to be able to get the correct budget allocation and times that by the yearly budget, right? Which is what we calculated just before. Okay, and then the last thing I want to show you. So what we've done is we've basically used two virtual relationships with TREATAS here. Okay, and this is probably my key takeaway here is how you can utilize TREATAS. So really trying to embed that in your mind, how we are able to incorporate these things via virtual relationships, because virtual relationships can be utilized in many different ways, not just this way, but this is a very good example of it, but there are certainly many other scenarios where these could be utilized. Now the last step, the very, very last step I wanted to show is how do we break it down by day, because we need it by day, because we ultimately then want to do a cumulative total. We want to put a cumulative total over it. And so you think about it, we've got monthly information now. So logically, all we've got to do is times the monthly information by how many days, or divide it by how many days are in a particular month. And then that's going to break it down at a daily level, or allocate an amount at each individual day. Okay, and so what I've done here is we already know what this is doing here, because that's very similar to what we did last time, but we needed to work out, well, how many days in any particular month or any particular context that we might be on. And all I've done is I said, okay, we'll count rows of the dates table, remove the context on dates, but then add it back for the month and year. And what that is going to do is it's going to say, okay, well, if we are in January, well, there's going to be 31 days, right? And so what I've done is this part of the formula is exactly the same as the last one, but then on top of that, what I've done is I've gone, well, times it by 1 divided by 31 in January's case, and then that's going to allocate the monthly part to a daily version. So that's really what I wanted to show you. There are a few. This was an entire hour-long session. So I've taken a small part from the learning summit. I've taken a small part out, which I think is a really interesting breakout session, and decided to put that in this particular tutorial. Now, and the key one, I guess the key takeaway there is TREATAS, how you can utilize TREATAS within DAX measures and in combination with the formula, with your model. And that's the key, because TREATAS does a lot of additional work that historically would have been done in the model. We have created physical relationships, but what you can do to make things cleaner in a lot of cases is actually incorporate them inside of DAX measures. It's a really great function. It's been around for a little bit now, but not too long. And so getting your mind around it is really key. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that one. Look forward to getting much more content out to you. So don't forget to subscribe to Enterprise DNA TV. And if you like the content, throw the video a like. Really appreciate it. Okay, all the best. Talk to you soon.